Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I wanted to share with you a midweek stock up. So I am stocking up my prepper pantry. If you're new here, we love to prep. We think it's super important for our family, especially now in times of inflation, food shortages, any sort of emergency that may come upon us. Fingers crossed that it doesn't, but if it does, we will be prepared. We make videos 4 to 5 times a week all about life here in Northern Colorado. We do life on a budget. So I am here to save you as much money as possible. I am a mother of 2, wife, and we just love it here. And I know how expensive it is out there, and all I'm trying to do is just give you a way to budget and save some money. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love it if you became part of our YouTube family. The goal this week was to go to a few different stores, and I did not go in one day. I just kind of have been collecting throughout the last week or so, maybe week and a half, and I wanted to focus on shelf-stable meals. I wanted to focus on meals that would be under $1 per serving, and I wanted them to be filling. So what I did was come up with 4 or 5 recipes that I could use all of these ingredients in, and my goal is to just sort them out, show you, and then you can put them in little bags and put them in a tote, and they will be easy to grab and go. So you can easily write down these recipes. I will have everything typed out in the description box for you. And I was really inspired to find meals that were adaptable for everyone. So you could add meat or dairy to this, but my goal was to find something on the cheap for you. Without further ado, let me get you turned around so I can show you what I got. So I did get quite a few items. All of them vary. Some are organic, some are not. And I was really just trying to focus, we already got into the rice here, on some things that we can just portion out and put together. So I'm going to show you the haul, and then I will put the foods together and show you what you can make. I will insert a picture of what each meal would look like when I'm talking about it in the slide. So we did get some diced chili ready tomatoes, and there is celery, bell pepper, and onion in here. So to me, it's like a Cajun Rotel, if you will. Most Rotels I don't think come with celery, but I could be wrong there. But I'm excited that Kroger offers this, and it's under $1. Sometimes you can find them for 50 cents. We also got some elbow macaroni. We went to Target and got some tomato sauce. Right back to Kroger, we got some cannellini beans. We have some chili beans from Walmart, a sweet potato from Target. That is the cheapest place I can find them right now, but it really depends on your area, unless you grow them in the garden, which we tried, and they are very small, so not as big as this. And then we ended up getting some bulk cornmeal from Kroger. And then we got some chickpeas. We got some coconut milk. Some curry powder is not included in the haul, but it is so cheap at Walmart. If you find the Lowry's brand, just go ahead and go into your Hispanic food section or ethnic food section. Spices there are generally going to be cheaper. And then we did get a big thing of rice, 2 pounds of that, and some butter and herb mashed potatoes. Okay, I'm going to get all of these set up. I'm going to put them into their ingredient pile, and then I will show you the final product. I am not going to be cooking today, but I have plenty of recipe videos on my channel. Go ahead and catch up if you're new here, and I will see you in 1 sec. I have my homemade tomato sauce going in the crock pot there. That is just part of my picture here. We are a very imperfect kitchen, so sorry if it looks cluttered. Anywho, first one, goulash. I grew up on this. It is so tasty. You're going to need some elbow macaroni. You're going to need some chili ready tomatoes. If you have diced bell pepper or onion that's cheaper than this can, go ahead and use that. You're also going to need some tomato sauce and then some cannellini beans for extra filling, but this is not necessary. You could add chicken here. You could even add tuna if you like your tuna with tomato sauce, but this is a very easy one that can be adapted pretty well for your family. And you could top this with some Parmesan cheese if you wanted, or you could throw in some 4 cheese Alfredo sauce. That's totally up to you, but goulash was a huge one growing up in Northeast Pennsylvania, and we loved it. Next on my list is going to be a classic chili. Again, this would be somewhere where you could add meat if you wanted to. If you want to keep it shelf stable, totally grab a can of meat or something like that. Sweet potatoes last a really long time down in my cellar. I don't know about you. So you are going to need some cannellini or white beans. You're going to need some chili ready diced tomatoes. You'll need some regular chili beans. You're gonna dice up this sweet potato, and then for the chili beans, what I like to do is save all that liquid, and you are gonna make some little cornbread croutons. So what I do is just form this and the liquid from the chili beans into little balls, and then I crisp them up in the oven, and then I put them on top of my chili. You could totally add this to your chili and make it thick. It honestly tastes a little gritty to me that way, but I've seen it done. Or you could take half of your sweet potato, steam it, and then add it to the cornbread mixture, and you would still get a really nice cornbread, and it wouldn't be a crouton, but you could dip that in there. I know a lot of people insist that you need milk, eggs, and butter for this, but in the event of an emergency and you want something a little comforting, you don't need all of that. You just need some sort of liquid. So this is all what I have going on for the chili. It is very, very flavorful. I encourage you all to pick up some spices. Just salt, pepper, and garlic will do you just fine for this one. Next up is going to be my cheater curry, is what I call it. I make this all the time in the event of not an emergency. I am still making it. It's very, very tasty. So you're gonna need a rice base. You could use quinoa with this, bulgur wheat, really any type of grain that you want to. I've even used this with a pasta. It's not my favorite, but it is tasty. You're gonna need a flavor. So curry powder works, but you could use garam masala or whatever you want to do there. You need some coconut milk, or you could use regular evaporated milk that you keep the dry milk with some water and add that to it. But I really like the coconut milk because it is rich and creamy. It gives that thickness. And then you're going to need a can of chickpeas. So you could be adding a sweet potato to this or a regular potato to bulk this up. You could add some canned peas. You could add frozen broccoli or freeze-dried broccoli if you have that on hand. But essentially you are just throwing everything in a pot. Please don't forget, all of these recipes will be typed out in the description box for you, but you're throwing everything in a pot and then simmering it. I used this recipe about a year ago when we lost power for a solid 2 days and we were cooking on the camp stove out there, and I really enjoyed it. It kept us warm. There was a little bit of spice to it and it was very filling. So curry, very, very easy. Again, instead of chickpeas, you could use chicken. Okay, last but not least, I did not stock up on potatoes or carrots just because we have a ton that we need to go through. So this wasn't technically included in the haul, but I am adding this as a bonus recipe. It is going to be a shepherd's pie. So what you will need for your base is going to be these carrots, some potatoes. You can use chickpeas and kind of grind them up to get that meaty texture. A lot of people don't like that. I enjoy it, which is, you know, it's totally fine. You could use beef here or chicken if you wanted to. And that's going to be your base. If you have a gravy packet to add to this, they do make vegetarian gravy packets. Go ahead and add that in there, and you're going to mix that all together and put that on your base. And then on top of it is going to go your butter and herbed mashed potatoes. Now, I know it's a double potato situation, but I really feel that this adds a filling element to the filling, and this has that butter and herb flavor, so I think it's really tasty together. This is more of a casserole, so you're going to want to bake this. Shepherd's pie has been made in so many different ways. If you are, not eating meat, you could use TVP instead of chickpeas. That is a soy product, so that's totally up to you if you wanted to. I've also used ground up walnuts, and that makes that meaty texture too. That's really tasty if you're familiar with those recipes. So this is another one. I just wanted to include it, and I really hope that you try some of these out. Okay, I know those recipes were a little short, but I did want to give you some ideas midweek, just in case you were thinking about stocking up twice a week, which is what I'm doing. I try and keep those stock ups to $10 or maybe $5 to $10 because I don't want to be spending a lot monthly. I'm still trying to build up my stock, but most of my grocery trips are for fresh items at this point. So I'm really participating in Shelf Timber, which is something that Jordan Page made up, and she shelf cooks all the time. So it's things that she finds just like me to be unique in a recipe. So instead of your traditional ingredients, she uses something that she has on hand, and that is a way that I budget and save money. So I participate in that year-round. That's my little secret for you. I am constantly on the cheap and looking for sales. I've gotten questions, how do I find these sales? A lot of the time I do go in the store, so if you're not able to do that, I do apologize, but I am trying my best to find different ways to get those deals to you. If you are ever experiencing food insecurity, I say it all the time, dial your local 211. There are so many resources out there for you. There are food banks, churches, there are neighbors to lean on. If you're uncomfortable with all of that, please email me. I will keep it private and I will try and help you find food in your area. I understand insecurity. I understand the feeling. It's scary and it's overwhelming. So I never want you to feel that these stock ups and hauls are a necessity. So I hope you got some ideas from today's video, and I know I'll get questions and I'm just going to address it now. In the event of an emergency and you are at your home and you don't have power, I suggest you invest in some sort of way to cook outside, whether that be a propane grill, a camp stove. We would cook in a fire pit, which we found at Target. Right now they have them on sale because it is out of season technically, so please check out your Walmarts and Targets for a fire pit. If you are handy, I'm sure you could just start a fire in your yard. Just be careful with that. I'm not condoning that kind of thing in a residential neighborhood or in the forest, but if you can find a way to cook outside of your home, I would highly suggest doing that. And then on the topic of leaving the house in the event of an emergency where you had to pick up and leave, I encourage you to put together a 72-hour emergency kit. I have 2 videos on that. I have stocked up for my family of 4 at the Dollar Tree and on the cheap at Walmart, and I have bags ready to leave the home in case of an emergency. And with that being said, I am fortunate enough to live in Colorado. We have access to camping, parks, a lot of ways to cook food essentially if we were forced to be outside and camping off-grid, if that makes sense. But if you're not in an area with that, I highly suggest investing in one of those camp stoves. I got mine from 4 Patriots. They're amazing. You don't need any propane or anything to be next to it, but you could go that route with your camp stove. All you need to do is have some kindling and a way to start a fire. I suggest waterproof matches or flint and steel if you have some. I have some on my keychain all the time. It's very simple to start a fire if you have the means to do so. You're going to need some dry brush or wood and then start that fire. With my 4 Patriots fire, that thing stays lit for hours. Honestly, it's amazing. We just blow on it every now and again, but we can cook a few meals on that and we will be just fine. So I did want to pop on here and say that with winter coming up and the threat of power outages, it is my mission to make sure everyone has food on hand in the event of an emergency. So don't forget to check out the description box. I will have all these recipes typed out for you. Let me know if you have any emergency recipes, anything that you may have on your shelf that is shelf stable and helpful in the event of an emergency. And on the subject, happy Shelftember. I hope you all got some inspiration to save some money when it comes to stocking up your prepper pantry. I cannot wait to see you all later this week for some really fun videos. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Wide awake is the way that you left me, side by side in your car in the backseat. Wide awake is the way that you left me, oh. Now it's clear we are here back at your house, and I keep fading into